Imagine waking up to see Bitcoin storming past 100 grand while XRP can't seem to pull its boots over that stubborn $2 fence. Would you laugh, cry, or double down? Stick around, because today I'm going to be taking you on the roller coaster that I've been riding for the past 5 months, watching XRP hold a line it's never really managed to grip before, ignoring every bearish banana peel that the market keeps throwing at it. By the end of this story, you're going to know why I'm convinced that this cycle might finally let XRP off the leash, and why the next stop on this crazy train could be north of $5. So, picture the scene, right? I'm sitting at my desk, coffee hotter than the Dubai sidewalk at noon, charts glowing like neon signs, and Twitter buzzing louder than my phone on lunch day notifications. Now, Bitcoin up, Ethereum flexing, memes flying, and yet all eyes, my eyes, your eyes, are all fixed on one thing. That flat line on the XRP chart, exactly $2. Now, sounds boring, right? Except that line is the cliff edge where fortunes were lost in 2018, where rally dreams slipped on ice in 2021, and where for the first time ever XRP has been calmly pitching a tent for almost half a year. Okay, so let me rewind to get the whole cast on stage. The end of 2017, back when fidget spinners were still spinning and people thought ICOs were the next retirement plan. XRP famously sprinted from half a penny to an all-time high of $3.80. That's 68,990%. Now, if that move were a car, the speedometer would snap. But like every sugar rush, it crashed. 2 weeks after peaking, right, XRP fell under $2. Then that horizontal line kind of flipped from trampoline to, well, ceiling. Now, for 7 grinding years, that ceiling refused to crack. Every attempt, April 2021, a heroic 196, ended, with gravity's rude laugh. Fast forward to December 2024, moments after Donald Trump's election win lit a rocket under the risk assets. Bitcoin was gearing up for 6 digits, Ethereum was reclaiming old highs, and suddenly, almost shyly, XRP nudged past $2 again. Now, I remember refreshing my chart so many times that my browser begged for a vacation. Now, would it last longer than January 2018's 2-week fling? Spoiler, yes. We're 5 months in and counting, and every dip that tries to pull XRP below $2 gets bought like concert tickets in row 1. Now, here's the juicy bit. Most people think that sideways is boring, but sideways, above old resistance is like a boxer dancing on the ropes. A knockout punch is loading. Now, analyst Guy on Earth slapped a giant arrow on his monthly chart and just wrote, "This time is different." It's bold, maybe, but the evidence is stacking up, right? Bitcoin at a $100,000 means institutional wallets are opening wider than ever. Ethereum punching past $2,300 screams alt season is flirting in the hallway, and XRP isn't just tagging along, it's building a floor where there used to be a ceiling. So let's think about what that really means. Now, in markets, the memory of a price level can haunt like an ex's playlist, right? Break an old high once and fall back, right? And traders treat that zone like hot lava, right? Break it again and, camp there for months. Right? That lava cools into solid rock support, right? That's kind of exactly what $2 is becoming for XRP. Market watcher eGrag literally tweeted, "Hold $2, no alarm. Transition, as long as we're above that line, the bulls haven't even started sweating." But let's not sugarcoat it. Every week I scroll through Telegram channels. By the way, quick reminder, if you're not already in our free crypto Discord server, hit the link that's in the description down below. The memes, the charts, the midnight freakouts. It's all all there and you're missing half of the jokes. Anyway, every week someone asks the following, right? Why hasn't XRP already mooned, jumped like 2017? And well, the short answer is patience, right? The long answer involves liquidity, cycles, lawsuit hangovers and market rotations that move like a reluctant sloth until bam, it sprints. Remember back in 2017, that parabolic move happened in the shadows of a brand new asset class, still figuring out how to spell regulation. Today, we've got institutional custody, ETF pipelines, and more compliance lawyers than Starbucks locations. Now, it's a different battlefield, and that kind of slows noise but strengthens signal. Right? When Guy on Earth projected $5.30 as his kind of first take profit zone, he wasn't just throwing darts. He was mapping Fibonacci extensions, volume clusters, and that historical 68,000% run. Right? The math says that if XRP can just repeat a tiny fraction of its previous insanity, well, $5 is basically the parking lot before the party. Okay, let me give you a metaphor. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. In 2017, XRP sprinted straight up. It didn't adjust itself and almost passed out near the summit. Now today, we're taking the scenic route, setting base camps, or at least letting our lungs kind of adjust. Now $2 is base camp 1. $3.30 already tagged is base camp 2. The next camp, $5.30, where the air is thin, but the view is Instagram gold. And if history rhymes, summit fever could push beyond. But here's the knot in the rope. Holding $2 sounds easy until fear turns rational. Right, markets love spooking you. A red candle slams down 80 cents in 2 hours. Crypto Twitter declares doomsday, and suddenly that sturdy floor looks like wet cardboard. That's the challenge, right? Emotional stamina. Every time that I feel the kind of panic itch, I pull up the monthly chart. One glance and the trend line's still there, still holding, still like steel, if you will, right? And that's when I remember the simplest but hardest rule. Zoom out. Okay, so let's sprinkle a few stats to keep this spicy. Now, according to Coinmetrics, daily, or at least average daily XRP transactions since January have hovered near 2 million, double 2023's average. Liquidity depth on major exchanges is up 23%. Meanwhile, wallet addresses holding between 100,000 and 1 million XRP, that's smart money sharks, have quietly accumulated 5% more since December. They're not trading TikTok hype, they're parking capital with multi-quarter vision. Now, if the sharks are circling, maybe a feeding frenzy isn't too far off. And talking about momentum, Bitcoin crossing the 100 grand, psychologically kind of frees alt investors from the what if Bitcoin dumps prison, right? Ethereum reclaiming $2,300 is historically where blue chip alts kind of stretch their legs. Now, XRP living above $2 for 5 months is like the marathon runner finally discovering sprint mode, still works. Add it up and you kind of end up with a cocktail that could taste a lot like 2017, only aged to perfection. Now, yes, let's talk about the elephant tap dancing in the room, regulation. XRP still wears a few scars from courtroom wrestling, but each ruling, each clarifying comment, I guess, chisels away at the uncertainty discount. Right? The gap between XRP might be a security and XRP is definitely green lit is narrowing faster than free parking spaces at a shopping mall on payday. Now, when that gap closes, sidelined capital floods in. So think of it like a dam wall. The cracks are showing, the water is rising, and only one question is remaining. It's when, not if, it bursts. Now, remember when I mentioned emotional stamina? Well, let me share a personal hack here, right? I split my bag into two, one for trading fireworks, one for diamond hand conviction, right? The trading bag plays ranges, right? 80-cent dips on to kind of 140, maybe pops. And the conviction bag, well, it hasn't moved an inch since December, right? that bag's job or whole job is to basically remind me that while headlines can twist daily, trend lines, whisper monthly truths, right? And if you're itching to kind of pull this strategy or make this strategy work, make sure you open an account at Blowfin via the link that's in the description down below and start trading with the best up-and-coming crypto exchange before the herd shows up and clogs the order books. Okay, so back to the plot line then, right? Because we've kind of reached the climax. 5 months of stubborn support, sharks loading up, and macro wins at XRP's back, right? The critical moment comes when the broader crowd finally notices what you and I have been staring at. A coin that once imploded after 2 weeks at $2 is now putting down roots there, right? History flips from hurdle to springboard. When that realization hits mainstream sentiment, FOMO lights like dry grass, right? The question I keep hearing is, what's the catalyst? And my answer is that sometimes the catalyst is simply enough people noticing the same undeniable pattern at the same irresistible price. Could it fall? Of course. Markets are equal opportunity heartbreakers, right? A global liquidity crunch, a regulatory curveball, or a whale with itchy cell fingers could nuke the setup. But what kind of risk is kind of the ticket price for a seat on this ride. Managing that risk, position sizing, stop losses, meaningfulness, that's, well, your seatbelt. And so here is where we stand on that kind of mountaintop. Looking back down at the trail, XRP sprinted to $3.80, collapsed, spent 7-year winters, locked out of the $2, then finally clawed its way back in December 2024 and hasn't looked back. Bitcoin's triple-digit fireworks show kind of proves that big money is back in town. Ethereum's push to $2,300 says alt season invitations are printing. Smart wallets are, quietly scooping up supply. Trend lines don't lie. And this time really could be different. Now, I'll be keeping my eyes glued to the charts, the coffee cup in hand, meme game ready, and nerves steady. And hey, if you want to live the play-by-play, grab the invitation to our free crypto Discord server that is in the description down below. It's full-on chart nerds, sleep-deprived traders, and a bot that pings every time XRP flirts with that trend line. What more could you want? And as for me, I'm buckled in for the next leg, right? $3.30 is history. $5.30 is the next postcard stop. And beyond that, well, let's just say I've already pre-ordered the confetti.